From the center of the universe, Toronto, Ontario, Canada, this is the SDM Show with your host, Rob Cairns. The SDM Show focuses on business, life, productivity, digital marketing, WordPress, and more. Sit back, relax, grab your favorite drink, and enjoy the show. Here is Rob.
Hey everybody, Rob Cairns here. I'm the founder, CEO, and Chief Digital Strategist at Stunning Digital Marketing. In today's podcast, I've got Onar Ali with me from OOPSpam. And we're going to talk about OOPSpam's annual report on spam in 2024. I know we're into 2025 at time of the record, but this is still really relevant. Sit back, relax, learn about spam trends with Onar and I. The SDM Show is brought to you by Stunning Digital Marketing, the digital marketing concierge that helps you put all your marketing pieces together. We are your marketing experts. We are also your WordPress security experts and know how to lock down a website and protect yourself from bad actors. So contact us at Stunning Digital Marketing today. Hey everybody, Rob Cairns here, and today I'm here with my good friend Onar from OOPSpam. How are you today, my friend?
Good, Rob. How are you?
It's good to have you back. And today I thought we'd dive into this 2024 annual spam report that your company puts out. I don't think I've seen one out there as detailed as this. Most people usually put them out about year in review, viruses, domains, CMSs. But you guys, being a spam company, have focused on spam. How long did this report take your team to put together?
Uh, First, thanks for having me. And so we picked 20 million samples, random samples, and then we try to look through them. We try to make sure they're randomized,
Yep.
and so it's a fair distribution across different tools and stuff. Then we'll look into it, see what we can extract, what kind of information, valuable information we can extract that will be valuable for people.
Mhm. And one of the things, that came out glaring on this report is SEO spam's number one, right? Political
Yeah.
spam was number two. And then the third one was financial spam. But it's interesting. There was no pharmacare spam at the top of the three, which is kind of a bit of a shift, don't you think?
The pharmacy.
Yep.
Uh, I think this kind of spams are covered on the health, medical, and
Yep.
medicine, and it's kind of so they are within that category.
Yep. So, and the other thing I would say is, before we even dive in more, is this is one of the things why site owners really got to watch their websites and care about stuff like this, because what these spammers are doing is using their website for their benefit to gain traffic to where they need it to be, right? So,
Yeah.
and I'm sure we've seen an increase in political spam with all the political unrest in the US these days, as I like
Yeah.
to call it. So, and we all know in the political realm, if you play the PPC game, it's harder to do ads these days. Facebook has all kinds of convoluted rules around political
Right.
ads. So does Google, both for Canada and US, by the way. And it becomes a nightmare. So I think political activists are finding more and more ways, and one of the ways is political spam.
Yeah, that's very true, and that was surprising to me too, because sometimes, well, in traditional sense, we always imagine spam as something like you try to sell or do um, attempts to link or phishing
Yep.
attack. But in this political spam, I noticed that they don't have necessarily goal to sell anything, but they are more spread the information. Like
Mhm.
if they have a certain goal that says they want to let you know about certain things, Trump did it or Biden did it, for example, from USA, and they will just pass it as information. So there's no link, there is no selling. It's just plain information passed in a contact form or the review systems or a comment. So it was kind of interesting to see this kind of different kind of spam. That's if you are, for example, rely on, oh, if if there's a link in my reviews, then I will think it's spam, but it's not like that anymore. It's just basically pure information. And yeah,
Yeah. And then the other thing that came really glaring in this report, which didn't surprise me. I think you and I were talking before we went there, and I said, as somebody who knows the space really well, none of these numbers kind of shocked me, if you know what I mean. And I've read it a couple
yeah,
of times. 69% of all spam targets WordPress websites. Well, it's about right because, to be fair, WordPress occupies right now, as of this record, about 43 to 44% of the market. So if I'm a spammer or a hacker or a security looking for vulnerability, I'm going to target what occupies most of the market, and that's WordPress. So that kind of goes hand in hand, wouldn't you say?
yeah, and totally agree. That's why we mentioned in the report that I mean, it comes from their popularity. And same goes to the goes to forum builders. We have a bunch of forum builders. They are attacked, but not because they are like vulnerable, but because they are more popular.
Yep.
So yeah, it's the same thing.
And I think,
We I noticed. Yeah.
go ahead, keep going.
So, for example, like as we know, I think I saw someone recently wrote article about comparison between data between WordPress usage and Elementor users, and how many of the WordPress users are Elementor users too. And so I know, for example, it's also reflected in our reports that many of the contact form, third most spammed form builder is Elementor form. Uh, that's because it's just simply more popular, not because of it is more vulnerable.
Yep. And the other thing I would suggest is if you go to the contact form, and that's where I was going to go, the number one is contact form 7. And one of the reasons I believe for that is, first of all, it's free, right? So a lot of people use it as a de facto. If you go to the WordPress repository, it's one of the most top 5 most installed contact forms. And to be fair, and I'm going to be really hard on contact form 7, they've had more security vulnerabilities in the last 2 years than any other contact form out there, right? So it all kinds of lines up hand in hand. Wouldn't you agree at that point?
True, yeah. Contact Form 7 is, I will say, one of the most popular, right, plugins.
Yep.
And it is much simpler. I don't know how much they, like you mentioned that they get, and they have low vulnerabilities, and I don't know much about their what's going on, how much vulnerability they get every year. But I know that their popularity and they're much more simpler, beginner friendly. I would say maybe that's why people use it most, and that's why they get spammed more too.
Yeah, I know I'm generally, fortunately, the contact form I use is not on the list. Uh, I'm a WS Forms user, which is Mark Westgard's product, and Mark
Right.
is a friend. So, disclaimer.
Oh yeah, I know
He,
Mark. He's a great guy.
yeah, and he's been on the show numerous times, and he actually takes stuff like that pretty seriously. One of the things I would say to any listener, and I don't care what form product you're using, and using your guys' product as well. The other thing I would implement, honestly, on a contact form is Cloudflare Turnstile, like without even thinking about it. It's free. If your form product doesn't support Cloudflare Turnstile, go and find another form product because that alone will cut your form spam down. I have political sites, and I was talking to you about that for the show. And one of them we instituted Cloudflare Turnstile, and they went from a couple thousand spam contact form a week to one. So, like anybody who's not educated should go educate. Because Cloudflare doesn't charge for that service, so get on that. Do you think things like Cloudflare Turnstile are better to protect form spam than the old captures, or do you have any feeling around that?
Um, I think there's a few factors.
Yep.
But Turnstile it's great. I like Turnstile in terms of it's more accessible compared to the Capture, and I guess the Capture has invisible mode, which is also accessible. So Turnstile and similar capture solutions, they are great for automated boats.
Yep.
And Turnstile has bigger, I get bigger networks than compared to capture, and I think so. I think they use IP reputation too, which
They do.
is capture. Yeah, so I think recapture doesn't use it. They just track the user's behavior, and based on that, determines if it's bot or not. So yeah, we recommend this our customers to use Turnstile when they're needed because our solution, OOPSpam, is basically more bots plus bots against bots and manual spam and more abuse
Yep.
if you are targeted and stuff. But Turnstile is great, works great for against automated bots. You know, dump bots like bots goes to your website, just try to fill your form and submit. It works great for this kind of
Yeah.
tags.
Well, what you're saying is what we really need is a multi-layered solution, right? To protect spam properly. Like it's not a drop in one thing and that fixes all. You need the layers to kind of
Right.
help you out here.
Yeah, I seen like cases where, especially with the WooCommerce, they get different kind of spam and abuse. And I seen like, okay, someone reached out to us. I say, hey, we installed, we have Word fans, we have Turnstile, and just nothing stopping this and stuff. Then I look at the data, and usually they're really people want to they give us temporary passport username so we can have a close look and really appreciate when customers do that because we can look at the data in real time to see what's going on. And then we see that, okay, this IPs are never being used for spam ever. It's from places like DigitalOcean where it's much better reputation. They have better reputation and
Yep.
they use good IPs, but scammers are still like able to get around it. It uses clean IPs and they run sophisticated. Usually they use this like vulnerability or some kind of I would say vulnerability by design. It's not necessarily vulnerability, but you don't expect, for example, someone use REST API to submit, uh, like no one uses REST API to purchase something, right? It's more too
Yep.
technical. So, but they do that, and that's why Turnstile here. There's no interface. Turnstile can scan. It can look.
Yep.
There is no way to force for it to do it. And so that's where we come in and we look at the data, then we like plugged into that hook and try to minimize that damage.
And then I thought we'd jump on into origin countries. So this one surprised me a little bit. I would have thought Russia's numbers would have been higher. And
Right.
when we look at this report, like really, the US and China are accounting for about call it 58%. That's like a majority of it. And then it's kind of like everybody else. And just knowing I'm surprised Russia's numbers this thing higher, knowing what comes out of Russia, knowing there's a lot of insecure servers in Russia, knowing the make out of the land. It's interesting that's not higher because in the hacking world, a lot of hack attempts come out of Russia. So it's just, but the spam isn't. So it's just a little fascinating when you ask.
I think also concerns that they know that too, people in
Yeah,
Russia.
yeah,
So
they
what
do.
they do is they start using like American companies, data centers, hosting companies, and VPS are so cheap now. You can buy it for $2, and in some of them in Europe you can buy it for one fifth or something like that. Very cheap. You can
Yep.
buy VPS servers and you can so they for that reason they know that people trust and usually like you mentioned Turnstile or Cloudflare in general. So what people do, people just block entire Russia. They block entire China and but they left United States, USA IPs open. So people there knows that too. So they go create data center, go to data center, buy VPS, and just spam from there. That's what I think what's going on, I believe.
Yeah, I do too. Um, let's go to on the most spam forms. I'm kind of breaking this down if it's okay, because it's really fascinating and people
Yep.
you and I live in this world, but a lot of people, and especially business owners, don't. So 45% of people that sign up are spam is caused by sign up. That doesn't surprise me. 35% is a contact form. Yes, I get way too much contact form spam. And then e-commerce and reviews are kind of after that. None of those numbers surprise me. And I think what this is pointing at is, guys, you got to lock down your sign up and contact forms, right? Like,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, certainly. I sign up. Sign up also very easy to spam. It's basically it's different kind of attack from contact form.
yep.
It's a general category spam, but sign up form is basically because you usually just one field, two field like email, password, and
Mm,
maybe confirm your password. If company doesn't want to collect more, they then ask your name and stuff. But sign up form, yeah, it's they just fill lots of they create lots of Gmail like most of the maybe we should have mentioned that too, but like Gmail accounts are most used in spam, and they just and there's no validations. There's no way with Google to check if this Gmail account, no reliable way, I should say, that this Gmail account exists, for example. So there's no way for you when you someone sign up, you can check, oh, is this Gmail account exist or not? Of course, you can do double opt-in and options like that, confirm your email and stuff. This usually helps, but problem is that people who spam or bots who spam, they don't really care about your confirm your email part. What they do is they just register on your sign up form, registration form, and your system sends them email
yep.
or sends the email. So that's what they care. They want to fill someone's inbox or they want to damage your email provider reputation, email delivery service reputation and stuff.
Yep.
So yeah.
And that's the biggest thing. Like, and then you go on and this is something really that business owners should really pay attention to. And I hear it all the time. I have a small website. I run a small store. Why should I care about security and spam? Who cares? Nobody's going to attack me. And my argument would be, as a security guy, yes, they're going to attack you because most spammers and hackers know that small websites tend not to do the things they're supposed to do. So that makes them more of a target. And they say, well, what's it going to do if I'm attacked? Well, you guys do a really good job in your report of outlining that. And it starts with damaged domain reputation. Yes, check. Customer distrust, check. Operation strain, overload, slowing down your website, check. And possible financial losses, check. So, where I'm going with this is small business owners, you need to pay attention if to anything in this report, not the percentages, not the numbers, not anything, those four things, and say, this is why I need to do something with my website.
Yeah, especially with the e-commerce, like with contact form, if you get spam, let's say, okay, I'm fine with that. I'll ignore just these emails, right? Maybe you are a really patient person, and but
Yep.
when it comes to e-commerce, it's a direct financial damage to your business because and on multiple front too. And when someone like we had a customer reach out to us, hey, so they're getting like every day they're getting like maybe 200 fake orders and they reach out to us, hey, I have an issue and I'm using this solutions and stuff. So they get in, and so they have like total of 40,000 fake orders. And what that means that each time they get fake orders, that yeah, the fake order changes the status to failed order because payment couldn't process. What
Yep.
happens each time they so 40,000 times they email the system send email to these people. They all had a high bounce because email just bounce back. The email doesn't exist, and then each time they use their stolen credit cards as bots. And
Yep.
what happens is that you send request to your credit card processor, and they receive 40,000 from your account, and they say, okay, maybe we should shut down or shadow ban your account, and or your business consider high risk all of a sudden, and you can't sell anymore basically, and you have to look for other providers.
Yeah, I agree. And just without getting into the rest, and we're going to put a link to the report in the show notes because I think everybody needs to go read it. Looking forward, looking ahead, not looking forward to 2025, and we're already there at the time of this record. The first thing you talk about is AI is being increased, the usage. What a shock. Not. If anybody's listening to this show, I've been touting for a long time. AI is one of the best benefits to business, but it's also giving the hackers, the spammers, and all the nefarious people a really edge in attacking others, right?
Yeah,
So it's
very, very
becoming
true.
a bit of a problem. And you mentioned AI driven phishing emails. Well, I'm going to tell you the biggest thing, and Tim Nash and I, if you know Tim, Tim's a regular contributor to the show, and we've talked about numerous times that in phishing emails, the language is actually really good right now. Graphics
Yeah,
is really good. And you can thank AI for that because all these people are doing is taking their emails and instead of the crappy English we've all seen, they're dumping them in AI and it's fixing all the spelling. And here you go, right? So
yeah.
it's a problem right now.
It is, I mean, it's already a problem, and it's going to become more and more problem. And it started like more advanced, and I seen like this is not just spam in general abuse. We've seen like voice spam, where voice abuse, where they call, for example, vulnerable group of people in communities, and they with their like family members' voices and stuff, and they try to get them, give them money, or they impersonate some government officials. I know personally someone whose grandparents were attacked like that, and lots of money were taken from their retirement account. And this is all using AI, and they disappear very quickly too because they're all digital and they just move on to the next target.
And
And
that's
so it's so it's very important to, and I think FBI recently published new guidelines that you should have a secret password, what they call, with your family. So when
you know,
someone
I've
calls
been
you,
I've been touting that for over 20 years now. Um,
yeah,
I did in a time in my career I did a lot of education in schools and teaching kids and parents how to be safe online. And I've been
yeah,
touting for a long time that a family needs to come up with a phrase or a password before
yeah,
anything happens. So that's it's just that the tools because of AI getting easier for the spammers, but the scams have been out there for a long, long time. So to speak.
right. Yeah, they definitely do get more sophisticated, and even like what we see in the data and text-based spam,
Yeah.
they are much more better. They're written better, and it's hard to know. So what we do is that we try to like train another model, basically fight AI with AI. So we train another model based on the what we see spam and try to combat that. And also IP and email reputation help, but IP is so not reliable in terms of spam. So many people use VPNs just for. I mean, I've seen so many people who go to a website and is stuck on a captcha, keep turning and turning. They don't let them in, and they have no way to go into the website to read it, and or even let the website owner to know that, hey, I cannot access your website unless that person goes to Facebook, finds that person, or LinkedIn, or some other
Yep.
alternative channels. So it's very important to think that when you implement any spam or any solutions, that you are not going to limit like VPN users and stuff. So that's why IPs are not that reliable.
Yep.
And emails are like emails. Anyone can generate emails. And it's so easy to generate.
Right. So true. And then the second thing you talk about is exploitation of IoT devices.
Oh
And
yeah,
I kind of want to talk about that because IoT devices are inher- inherently insecure to start with. I mean, I don't know an IoT manufacturer that updates their devices so on a regular basis from a security perspective. So we're talking everything from the Amazon ELEXA,
yeah,
because I won't say the word, I'll set them off again. to the Google Minis, to the Ring doorbells, to you name it. I don't know any where the security is being updated on a regular basis. And that alone makes them a target for everything under the sun. So
Yeah.
one of the recommendations I've actually made is if your router supports a separate subnet, your IoT devices should go on a separate subnet, not your main network at home. What do you think about IoT devices?
Yep. In I think it was 2018. We were working on IoT devices when I was doing my master's. So we were building IoT devices, and so it was we were reading a lot, and we had different companies we worked with, and different IoT device companies who developed different chips for hardware is for the IoT devices, and
Yep.
they had like almost none of them had any authentication in it. And even they had the authentication, it was very insecure authentication, simply because by design they are so small, they're limited memory in it, and they cannot run sophisticated authentication or encryption uh, in it. And I don't know how it's changed now, but they are in general, as you mentioned, they are by design of like vulnerable, and that's one of the reports I mentioned it how USA is number one where spams come from. The devices, IoT devices, are as vulnerable. Many like countries that right from Russia and China attack, hackers. They go to the devices. They just infect the devices, and you never know because everything works. So you
Mhm.
never suspect anything. But all comes from your network, and all of a sudden your IP get blocked, and you wonder why I cannot enter this website or I cannot
Yep.
commit this uh, contact form or submit this kind.
And it's
Yeah,
true, and people don't realize, and that's what happens. And then the third one, and there's a couple others, but we're going to stop at the third one is crypto scam and is crypto spam. And what I'll say is crypto scams are growing everywhere. I mean, the spam is on forums, it's on social media, it's absolutely everywhere. And
yeah,
and I take a different view with crypto, and it's folks, crypto is an unregulated currency. And the word unregulated, and I know in Ontario, I have a good friend who's the director of public relations for the Ontario Securities Commission. So they're the ones who look after investment companies and stuff like that. And in this province, we've actually implemented laws to curtail some of the crypto crap, as I call it. But I would be really, really careful with something that's not regulated. It's like play at your own risk.
yeah.
And if we started being careful, we would shut this down like left, right, and center. What do you think about crypto and crypto scams and spams?
Like,
Sorry.
like you say, crypto in spam, they are mostly most, if not all of them, are basically try to help you to recover your stolen cryptocurrency wallet.
Yeah.
So basically, lots of people now get messages, "Hey, if you lost your wallet, we can help to recover it." Um, I'm
10 a
assuming
day,
they have
10
their
a
own
day,
goal to steal your wallet.
10 a day, and I don't have a wallet. So there you go.
Yep. Yep. That's safest. If you don't have it, you are safe.
That is true. Um, so we've talked a little bit about the report. How does OOPSpam help mitigate what's in this mess?
But like is a lot of data analysis, and we have, like as I mentioned, we have our model.
Yeah.
Basically, we have on and just been around before all the AI hype, and we
Yeah.
had since 2017 we had our model, and we keep adding data on it and improving it based on the content, spam content, and we also have large subset of IPs and emails and all different categories. So you know, if you have contact form and WooCommerce are different, for example, get different targeted spam. So we use different list of blocked IPs for them and stuff. So it's all content, IP, and email, and we also let people like filter their geo restrict their So we don't. So there is like geo restricting your entire website, so no
Yeah.
one can enter from. And all, we only let them geo restrict their contact form or their WooCommerce order or sign up, so people still can access your website, but they cannot submit, for example, for from if you geo restrict to certain location.
Yeah.
And that helps a lot with accessibility, and that helps just make sure you're. I mean, also I think it's good for SEO, that Google can, because Google servers are all over places, so it can access to your website and yeah, probably your website. So yeah, there's yeah, that's mostly what we try to. That's how we try to find the spam and direct spam.
And I can't recall, so refresh my memory. Is your pricing geared at the individual site, or is it geared at an agency where you can buy a package like 10 or 20 or 30 sites?
Right. It's all plans come with unlimited websites, so you don't really have to worry about that. And even like a freelance plan, it's pretty generous. Limit down based on API cost, so it's pretty generous too. So for freelance plan, you can run like easily 100, 150 websites. Of course, there's no limit, and you can, as long as you have API call limit, you can just keep going.
And if somebody wants to find more about OOPSpam, where's the best place to go?
Best play OOPSpam.com, and that's where you can just see and all the information, what we do and how we do it.
Yeah. And the best place to get a hold of you, I take it, is on LinkedIn these days. Is that fine?
Yes, I think LinkedIn is the best. And just search Onar Alili and
Yeah.
yeah.
Onar, thanks for coming on and talking about the report. I wish you and OOPSpam a great 2025. And as always, we hope to have you back soon to talk more about the world of spam. Have a great day, my friend.
Thanks so much. Yep,
Oh,
thanks so much, Rob, having me, and I really appreciate talking to you, and it was fun.
thank you. Bye bye. This podcast has been brought to you by Stunning Digital Marketing, your digital marketing concierge to help the business owner put all his pieces together, whether it's email marketing, WordPress security, WordPress design and development, PPC, and more. Text Stunning Digital Marketing for all your digital marketing needs today. A very special thank you to Onar for joining me on this edition of the SDM Show. The SDM Show is dedicated to my late father, Bruce Cairns. Dad, I miss you very much every day. My mother, Ann Cairns, who's still doing really well and is an inspiration. And of course, Tiz Maroney. And Tiz, I know I've said it, but thank you so much for all the inspiration you give me every day.